Welcome back to the Xianxia Tales Decoded channel. Why is it said that after Han Li successfully formed his Nascent Soul, the Luoyun Sect struck an enormous jackpot? Cheng Tiankun not only recruited Han Li into the sect but also immediately honored him as a supreme elder. From that point onward, the sect seemed to be cheating. It made a stunning comeback and soared to new heights. Though the Luoyun Sect was one of the three great sects of Yunmeng, it appeared glamorous on the surface. In reality, it had long been teetering on the edge of a cliff, and its status as a major sect was on the verge of collapse. The root cause? The entire Luoyun Sect only had two Nascent Soul cultivators to uphold its reputation. El Luo had just reached the early Nascent Soul stage, and his combat strength was far from impressive. Even more worrying was Cheng Tiankun. His lifespan was nearly exhausted, and he had little time left. Cheng Tiankun saw the situation clearly. Once he passed away at the end of his lifespan, El Luo's limited abilities would never be enough to defend Yunmeng Mountain, a precious cultivation land. So he had long warned El Luo, if he ever passed away, El Luo must immediately lead the sect to relocate from Yunmeng Mountain, proactively giving up this land to avoid dragging the entire sect into catastrophe. However, just at this critical juncture, the commotion caused by Han Li's Nascent Soul formation shocked everyone in the Luoyun Sect. The celestial anomalies that day were extraordinary. With just one glance, Cheng Tiankun realized Han Li was only one final step away from breaking through to the Nascent Soul stage. By then, it was too late to stop him, so Cheng Tiankun decided to hold back and wait for the outcome. He had already calculated his moves. If this young man failed to form his Nascent Soul and was left weakened, subduing him would be effortless. Moreover, Han Li had no powerful protector assisting him in his Nascent Soul formation. 9 times out of 10, he was a loose cultivator, a cultivator without a sect. But if Han Li succeeded, the gains would be enormous. Not only could he establish a connection with this Nascent Soul cultivator, but he might even recruit Han Li into the sect, which would perfectly strengthen the Luoyun Sect's power. It's important to note that once a loose cultivator forms a Nascent Soul, they are usually highly capable. Unburdened by sect restrictions, they act without hesitation and hold grudges deeply. No major sect is willing to offend them for no reason. Later, when Cheng Tiankun saw Han Li successfully overcome his heart demon and form his Nascent Soul, he immediately dismissed the surrounding disciples, took the initiative to go to Han Li's cave mansion to show goodwill. While congratulating Han Li on his promotion to the Nascent Soul stage, he requested to enter the mansion for a thorough talk. Not only did he not blame Han Li for leeching the spiritual energy of Yunmeng Mountain, but he also smiled and said, "Han Li, your success in forming a Nascent Soul here is a blessing for our Luoyun Sect." These few words alone made Han Li develop a much better impression of him. When the two learned that Han Li was only over 200 years old, they were almost stunned on the spot. For context, in the past, every cultivator who formed a Nascent Soul before the age of 300 eventually became a top-tier powerhouse dominating a region. With Han Li's talent, he would undoubtedly become a super elder in the cultivation world in the future. How could Cheng Tiankun let this opportunity slip? He immediately persuaded Han Li to join the Luoyun Sect and offered extremely attractive terms. As long as Han Li agreed to be a supreme elder, he wouldn't have to do any sect chores. He would receive over 1,000 spirit stones every year. He could command any disciple in the sect. The sect would help him find spiritual herbs and cultivation materials. And even the cultivation insights for the Nascent Soul stage would be fully shared with him to help him avoid detours. Han Li only thought it over for a few days and finally agreed to join after weighing the pros and cons. Originally, Cheng Tiankun and El Luo planned to hold a grand sect assembly and invite high-ranking cultivators from other sects to attend Han Li's induction ceremony. But Han Li preferred not to be too ostentatious and asked for a simple ceremony instead. The two didn't press him. Instead, they sent disciples to Yu Country to investigate Han Li's background. When they learned that Han Li was once a cultivator of the Huangfeng Valley and even the grand disciple of Ancestor Linghu, they couldn't help but remark, Ancestor Linghu had suffered a huge loss this time, and in the end, it was their Luoyun Sect that reaped the benefits. Only after verifying Han Li's background thoroughly did the Luoyun Sect fully open its doors to accept him. Later, when they discovered Han Li's extraordinary combat skills, the Luoyun Sect even began to regard him as its figurehead. Everyone in the sect revolved around him. Later, when Han Li took Mu Piling as his concubine, Cheng Tiankun and El Luo made a special trip to congratulate them, each gifting Mu Piling a top-tier magical artifact. When Han Li accepted Liu Yu, a demonic cultivator, as his disciple, Cheng Tiankun not only didn't oppose it but also directly appointed Liu Yu as the deputy peak lord of Beifang Peak. Even when Han Li went to the Luoyun Sect to retrieve Nangong Wan, an act that Cheng Tiankun knew would offend Wei Wuya, a late Nascent Soul cultivator, he didn't utter a single word of objection. Instead, he recognized Nangong Wan as his sworn sister, making it clear to everyone the Luoyun Sect would do its utmost to protect Nangong Wan. Afterwards, when Nangong Wan was secretly attacked by an elder of the Luoyun Sect, Cheng Tiankun didn't hesitate for a moment. He immediately gathered several of his Nascent Soul friends to support Han Li. Even when Han Li fell into the spatial rift of the Demonful Valley and everyone thought he was dead, Cheng Tiankun didn't take advantage of the situation to drive Han Li's people away. Instead, he often went to check on Nangong Wan's condition. When Han Li finally managed to return to the Luoyun Sect, Cheng Tiankun led all the sect's cultivators to welcome him at the gate. Han Li was deeply moved by this scene, and by then, he had already reached the middle Nascent Soul stage. After he defeated the Supreme Elder of the Ancient Sword Sect in a duel, the Luoyun Sect became the top sect of Yunmeng Mountain. In the end, Cheng Tiankun and El Luo even helped Han Li and Nangong Wan hold a grand dual cultivation ceremony, inviting all the prominent figures in the cultivation world to offer their congratulations. Cheng Tiankun's series of moves make him worthy of being called the ultimate angel investor in the cultivation world. He had long seen that Han Li's cultivation base was unfathomable and that Han Li would surely rise to prominence one day. Therefore, no matter what Han Li wanted to do, Cheng Tiankun led the entire sect to support him with all their strength. It was precisely because of this that the Luoyun Sect was able to transform from a second-tier sect into the most powerful sect in the southern region. That's all for today's content. Don't forget to subscribe to the Xianxia Tales Decoded channel to stay updated on the subsequent plot. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.